Welcome, everybody, to this week's edition of Valpo Football Weekly. It's brought to you by Lakeshore Bone and Joint. Brandon Vickery with you. Glad to be joined by the head coach of the Valpo football team, Landon Fox, as we look back at Saturday's victory over Presbyterian. Get ready for a big game coming up this Saturday. But let's start with this past week. And a lot of numbers stand out from that one, but I think the first one that stands out is to rush for 8 touchdowns, set a school record in the running game, to do it with one player rushing for 4, another player rushing for 3. Just what you see as far as the way you were able to move the ball on the ground in the win on Saturday?
Yeah, going into the game, we thought we may be able to control the line of scrimmage. They're a team that brings a lot of pressure. They're an aggressive team, but they weren't the biggest team. And so one of the goals going into the game was to control the line of scrimmage. You give a lot of credit to the offensive line. They were able to do that. They were challenged. They stepped up to the challenge, which is great to see from the offensive line, and gave that the running backs the opportunity to make some plays, and they both made them and were able to capitalize on the holes that they created.
You inserted Jeffrey Jackson at quarterback midway through the game on Saturday. What did you see from Jeffrey when he was in there, and where do things stand at quarterback here going forward?
Yeah, Jeffrey came in, did a nice job. It's just one of those things where, it's close in practice. Those guys are really rotating reps. And so maybe as a defensive guy, I'm a little bit different in terms of, it's just like any other position. If somebody's maybe not playing as well as you'd like, you go to the next guy and see how they're doing. But, Jeffrey came in, was able to, keep it on his own read, score a touchdown, rushing touchdown, and then made a few big passes there at the end of the game, some play action passes that we were able to hit. So the thing that I like is he was ready. He's ready on the sideline. It's easy for you maybe to drift a little bit when you're not playing. But I give Ben credit too, in terms of he's done that, where he's gone out for a few series and came back in and has kept his composure. And so no different moving forward. Both of them will get equal reps throughout practice and see who prepares the best.
Well, simply just what was it like to face Presbyterian's unique style of play, and how do you think you adapted to it? What are some things that you liked and didn't like as far as the way your team adapted to facing a team like that?
Yeah, I would say this, we took advantage of short fields, and you have to. I mean, that's just how they play, and that's what they want to do. And so you can't look at it as one of those things where, hey, this is kind of crazy, this and that. No, that's how they play the game. And so I think we were 7 for 7 or 8 for 8 or something like in the red zone. And so when you were able to drive the field, sustain the field, and then score touchdowns, it does put the pressure back on them. In terms of their onside kicks, they created 2 extra possessions for themselves. We missed 2, and really a third one was up for grabs. So moving forward, again, we're at to eliminate those extra possessions because that's their philosophy. And then from a defensive perspective, we were really poor. I mean, it was not a good game in terms of just matching routes, eliminating big plays. And so, most of their points came on big plays, and you got to have a team like that drive the field over and over and over, because they are going to score some points, but make them drive the field.
Brian Bartholomew was the PFL Special Teams Player of the Week. He set a school record with 8 extra points in the game. He's been pretty consistent for you at the kicker position. Just what's it been like to see Brian develop and go from a walk-on a few years ago to the way he's performed for you last spring and so far this fall?
Well, the first thing Brian's got to do is throw the football a little bit better in our field goal. He told me he could get it done and came up short. So. His growth has been tremendous. You come in here as a new coaching staff, and really at that time he was an afterthought. When you're trying to think about, hey, who's played, who can do what, and he's a quieter guy around coaches. I think he does have some personality and some charisma outside of it, but the thing with him is he just came every day and just got better and better and better. And next, he's kicking, field goals, and I'm just keeping them moving back. And that's one of the reasons we tried a long field goal against Marist, to win the game. I have that confidence in him just through his preparation, what he's done, what he's shown in practice. So he's been awesome. It's been great to see his growth.
If freshmen or newcomers on the team that are new to this week in the Hoosier Helmet rivalry game, how do you explain it to them?
That's the same thing I said after the game. After the game in the locker room, I would say this, and Brandon, you and I talked about this after the game. were we as in good of spirits as what you'd like? No, you had some opportunities there to put maybe the game away. I don't know if you can ever say that against Presbyterian, but make it really hard on them. And we weren't able just to close it out. And so that made it disappointing. And you could see it was disappointing for coaches, players, everyone who was associated with the program. And I just think that's where the expectations have risen within the program. And that's exciting to see where, hey, you got to win. We're excited about the win, but we knew we could have been a lot better. However, after the game, then I did tell them, I was like, you're going to be in for a treat this week in terms of just what it means to play the team in Indianapolis. And it was new. It's something new for me that I embraced, that I and really enjoyed. And so I'm sure they will as well.
Let's talk about the opponent this week. Is their team still looking for their first win in PFL play, but they've had several close calls? What are some things that maybe make them dangerous? What do you have to do to take care of business on Saturday?
Yeah, I would say this. Offensively, they always have a really good plan. Coach Forrest and his staff, they're gonna know what you'll be in, what you're gonna do. So they've always done a nice job with that. Defensively, they're a combination of playing some coverage and bringing pressure, and you're gonna have to be able to handle that pressure. But they execute well, and you can see that they just didn't have the ability to finish some games. And our guys will see that on tape, watching film. They'll see they're close. And so it'll be important for us to play 60 minutes and be able to execute it for a long period of time. And throw the records out in this one, right? You could be undefeated, you could be winless, but you're always going to get that other team's best shot.
There he is, the head coach of the Valpo football team, Landon Fox. Again, it is rivalry week. The Hoosier helmet is up for grabs, 11 a.m. Central Time, noon Eastern on Saturday. And you can follow Valpo football on social media or visit valpoathletics.com. It's been Valpo Football Weekly, and it's brought to you by Lakeshore Bone and Joint Institute.